Hello to all of you wonderful moms out there. This is episode 96 of Achieve Your Ambitious Mom Life. I'm your host, Anoki Kapasi, and I'm here to empower you with life planning tools so that you can envision, plan, and take action on your big ideas while prioritizing family. Have you ever wondered if you're even qualified to do anything else after time away from your career? Maybe you've stopped tapping into your potential after becoming a mom and feel completely out of touch with the professional world. This is a totally reasonable question to ask, and it can be so daunting to be staring at a resume gap and feel that weight of self-doubt creeping in. To cycle through career change ideas without landing on one because you're not sure which skills actually matter or how you're ever going to find time to even learn them. So if this is you, then you're going to want to keep listening to the rest of today's show. I'm going to show you how to create a learning roadmap so that you can get those transferable skills for your next career change. This is a plan that's going to factor in the realities of your already full and busy mom life. So it's a plan that is meant to work for you because you are a goal-oriented mom. So I hope you're ready to level up your skills, and I promise that you can do this without any overwhelm. Are you looking for a way to blend success and motherhood without losing sight of who you are? I get it. I've been there too. Hi, I'm Anoki, a PhD researcher, business owner, and homeschooling mom of 2 boys. As your life coach, I help moms like you create a life you love at home and at work. If you're ready to stop feeling overwhelmed, overscheduled, and overlooked, and want a clear roadmap to a balanced life, a meaningful career, and finally feeling like yourself again while being the awesome mama that you are, you're in the right place. In this journey to create the life you truly desire, it's time to rediscover your dreams and achieve your ambitious mom life. If you enjoy the Achieve Your Ambitious Mom Life podcast, please take a moment to leave a review on Apple Podcasts, as it helps more ambitious moms decide whether this is the show for them. Your feedback not only improves the show, but also builds our supportive community of purpose-driven mamas. One listener shared, "Love this podcast. Really enjoying this new series. Anoki is so sweet in her approach to inspiring moms." Thank you, Chrissy. Hearing Chrissy's feedback that my show is inspiring her growth mindset is so encouraging. It's a reminder that sometimes the most important step is to let yourself be exposed to new ideas and be inspired, and then see where that takes you. So ladies, reviews like yours help me tailor content to better serve your needs. Would you mind sharing what you think by leaving a quick review today? It takes just a minute of your day, but it makes a lasting impact on my growing podcast. Thanks, and I can't wait to read what you have to say. Have you ever found yourself looking at your resume and realizing that there's actually a gap in your skill? You took that pause perhaps when you became a mom and chose the life of a stay-at-home mom. Or perhaps you want to pursue a new career and that requires a totally new set of skills. So what was your next question? Did you wonder, who is even going to hire me now? And I know why you asked that question. Because you don't know which skills to prioritize for this career change that you want to make. And you certainly don't know how to find the time to develop them while you're managing all of your family responsibilities. When you're looking at job descriptions, and it seems like they're just a long list of requirements, you start to wonder how you're ever going to meet all of those requirements to get hired. And I also know that your struggle isn't just logistical and skills-based. It's also this feeling that you have inside. You feel out of touch. You're doubting your qualifications. You're questioning whether you're still capable in a marketplace that seems to have kind of moved on without you, right? Especially fast-paced careers like the profession that you specialize in. I know when I'm interested in jobs where I don't have all the qualifications for, it kind of screams at me like I'm irrelevant, even though I know that I have been learning things over the years and growing in ways that don't actually show up on my resume or that I don't necessarily post about on LinkedIn. But what I want to tell you is that every mom who wants to work deserves to be able to pursue the meaningful work that they want. It has to be work that aligns with who you are now, right? I don't want you to settle for any job just because you're doubting your relevance. If you are going to take time away from your family, which is your number one priority, it's got to be work that's really worth it for you in so many ways. It's got to be meaningful and purpose-driven. So if you're wondering whether you're qualified to do anything else after a career pause or a skills gap that you've identified, then I completely understand. When I was making my own career pivot midway through my PhD, actually, I was switching from molecular pathology to epidemiology, which, believe it or not, have very little overlap. I felt exactly this way. I had spent years building expertise in one area, and then suddenly I was starting over in a field that required completely different skills. So I started to wonder if I was making a terrible mistake. I started to question whether anyone would even take me seriously, if they would want to hire me. But as you know, I've made several career pivots in my life, and with each one, I've gained more confidence and more clarity in my ability to navigate a career change and to follow a new path. And what I learned through all of my experience and through working with moms facing similar transitions is that life planning reveals a much richer skill set than most people realize they possess. I have helped moms identify their hidden transferable skills that they didn't even realize they actually had, skills that they developed through motherhood, through involvement in the community, through personal projects. And believe it or not, these are absolutely relevant to career goals. I have helped other high-achieving moms map out the exact sequence that they should start developing their skills so that they can move towards the career that they want. By having this kind of roadmap for your skills, it allows you to invest a minimum amount of time and help you get maximum impact out of it. Now, the big key here is that you don't have to master all of the skills you need at once. You can actually develop these skills piecemeal. And sometimes even on the job, I have done that plenty of times. By breaking this down into an incremental process, it is so much less overwhelming. I know that developing new skills with the realities of our mom lives seems so overwhelming, but the plan is actually ridiculously simple. All you have to do is first determine what skills you already have mastered, what skills you're going to need for the new job, and then work on building the top 1 to 3 core skills. There are a lot of skills that you already have gained. There are useful skills and they're transferable. These can be strengths of yours even, and they have appeared over and over again in your current mom life, either at home or at work. Sometimes you don't even realize that what you're doing is a useful skill. So I want you to start off by doing a skills audit. It is an inventory as comprehensive as you can make it of the skills that you've already developed. And here's the important part, not just your formal work experience, but across all the roles that you've taken on. Because most moms actually dramatically underestimate their capabilities. They're often just looking at their resume or just looking at the phrasing that's put into job descriptions. It's often the case that the skills that kind of feel automatic to us seem unremarkable. So this is also why getting external input sometimes can be crucial. To do this skills audit, all you have to do is list all the roles that you have beyond your job title. So as a mom, a volunteer, household manager, community organizer, maybe even your hobby. And so for each role, think about all the tasks that are involved in fulfilling that role. And then take those tasks and think about the transferable skills that are involved in that task, right? Because when it comes to job descriptions, they use terms like problem solving, good communication skills, project management, being able to do research, teaching, negotiation, building systems. So it may not be obvious at first that you're utilizing these skills, but when you start to take a look at what is actually involved in each of these roles, you're going to realize that you have more transferable skills than you thought at first. So let me give you an example. Maybe you're a mom who has organized your child's school fundraiser. Okay, so that could include skills like event planning, budget management, volunteer coordination, marketing, project management. These are all highly transferable professional skills, even though you weren't utilizing them in a traditional workplace. And a pro tip is to just think about what your general strengths are, because chances are a lot of the activities and the way you've spent your time, even outside of the workplace, you've naturally gravitated towards those because they tap into your strengths. So before I share the last 2 steps of this skills development plan, I want to invite you to come into my Designed Life Method coaching program. I'm going to help you, like I have other ambitious moms, to stop feeling lost and overwhelmed. You truly can create a life plan that's going to help you make decisions towards your ideal life with so much confidence. When you do that, you're going to stop feeling lost and overwhelmed. You're going to stop sacrificing what matters most to you and to your family. I am 100% committed to helping you find that balance where you don't just have to survive day to day. You can actually thrive. You can feel fulfilled in both your ambition and your family life. I believe and know that there's a path forward for you, just like other moms that I've worked with. But I want to show you how. I mean, tactically, tangibly, step by step, how to turn your ideal life into your real life. So if this is speaking to your gut, if you're tired of always putting everyone else first while your own dreams are sitting at the bottom of your to-do list, if you're craving more time for yourself and your goals, but you don't know where to start, then click the link in the show notes to work one-on-one with me. My Designed Life Method is your solution. It provides a customized roadmap to envision your ideal life. You can create a strategic plan that's aligned with your values and implement systems to optimize your day. And incidentally, while building your life plan, you will also essentially be completing the first step of this skills plan that I just shared. You will be able to identify all of your skills, your strengths, your zone of genius, all of that. And we can start with a free exploratory call. That's where we're going to figure out your next steps together. It's such a great place to get started, which is why I think it's exactly what you should do now. Go to the show notes, click the link for a free call, and we can do a life plan audit and get you going on your next step. So after you've identified all of the skills that you've already mastered, I want you to start researching and focusing on identifying the skills that you need to fill in that gap towards the new career that you want. One easy way to do that is to start researching 5 to 10 job descriptions in your desired field, and then start looking for all of the skills that overlap across those job descriptions. These are going to be the core competencies that are required for your new job. Which of those skills have you already mastered, and which of those skills do you still need to learn about and develop? From there, I want you to narrow this list down even more. You may have identified several skills that you need to master for this new career. However, I really want you to focus on the top 3 skills. These are going to be the most frequently mentioned ones in the job description. These are the most foundational to the role. Another indicator is if they're listed at the top of the job description. And these are also ones that I want you to consider whether they're reasonable for you to master in, let's say, the next 3 to 6 months. The reason I'm asking you to narrow it to these 3 core foundational skills is because it becomes a lot less overwhelming. You want your first steps to be towards the most important skills. That is going to make you a much more ideal and appealing hire. Another way to think about this is that you're building a minimum viable competency. You're gaining some basic proficiency in the skills that matter the most, and you're putting your energy into the ones that are going to give you the most bang for your buck, essentially. The rest of the skills you can consider as nice to haves, okay? Those are the ones that you're going to start working on after you've mastered the core competencies, and often those are also skills that you're going to really gain most of your proficiency in on the job. The last thing I want you to do is to then take each of the core skills and break them down into micro-learning lessons. So I'm talking about what you could realistically learn in 15 to 30 minutes daily, and then start time blocking that into your existing schedule. Now, there are so many different ways you can learn skills, right? You can go back to school, you can take comprehensive courses and intensive workshops, but a lot of these traditional models just don't work for moms with full lives, right? So my method is going to be particularly conducive to your current lifestyle. I'm really just asking you to build in 15, 20, maybe 30 minutes if you can, where you can focus on building one next step. That's why I call them micro-learning lessons. And you'll be surprised. Having these short, consistent sessions can sometimes be more effective than a massive, long practice, okay? Especially if they become infrequent. And when in our lives, when we're talking about doing anything in long chunks of time, chances are that's not going to be very frequent. So I think these short bursts, but that are consistent, is going to be a lot more impactful in your ability to acquire that skill. I want to make sure that in these micro lessons, you're incorporating sometimes learning from a resource, but also incorporating other times more practical experience with the skill. Passive ways of learning could include things like a YouTube video or a skill-specific podcast or reading a book on that particular skill. But then I want you to also try to do more practical things. Maybe you're taking a course and it has short little modules and you try to practice the thing that you just learned in the prior day's module. Or maybe there is a practice-based workbook of some sort that you can also do. Whatever your lessons are, whenever you time block them in, I just want you to make sure that you're protecting that time as well. We're really not talking about a lot of time. Think of your daily habits and maybe attach your lesson to the end of that particular habit. So for example, maybe it's during your morning coffee, or maybe it's right after you tuck your kids into bed. That's when I do almost all my learning. And one last tip for this is to start tracking your progress. Because you're going to have to break down your lessons into little mini lessons, you'll probably have some sense already of how far along in mastering that skill you are. But if there's a little more formal doesn't have to be complex. It can still be a simple system for tracking. Maybe it's a checklist or a journal, whatever it is. Just make sure that you have a way to understand where you are in your learning journey, because we want to avoid you dropping part way because you feel like maybe you're not getting anywhere. Sometimes you don't feel like you fully understand the skill until you get to the end of your learning journey. So by tracking it, you can at least have something concrete to say, hey, I've already mastered at least 50% of what I need to know to use this skill in a job setting. This is the 4-step plan that's going to get you out of cycling through career ideas without you taking any action. It's going to get you unstuck from analysis paralysis. And it's going to stop that skills gap that you have in your resume from growing even larger. I don't want your confidence to erode while you watch others making their moves and you're still frozen. I want you to get out of that trap where you say, I'll work on that someday, or I'll work on that later. I want you to tell yourself instead that the time for you is now. Not when the kids are older, not when you have more time, but now. Once you start taking action and get even partway to learning the skills that you need, you're no longer going to start looking at yourself and wondering if you're qualified enough. You're going to start actively building those qualifications in a way that still works with your family life. You're going to start proving to yourself that you can take on challenges, even when things feel uncertain. So I want to thank you for spending your time with me today. Let's recap what we covered about getting the skills that you need for your career change. First, you're going to identify the specific skills that you already are using every day in your life in all the roles that you have. You're going to identify the skills that you still need to master in order to move towards your new career. And then third, you're going to hone in on the top 3 core skills that you need in order to be proficient in the new line of work. The last thing you're going to do is actually build those skills. You're going to take those core skills and break them down into micro learning sessions and sequentially, consistently, daily working on them. 15 to 30 minute blocks of time. So you're going to start small, you're going to build momentum rather than overwhelm yourself with too much at once. Your learning is going to include both theoretical learning, you're going to read about things, watch how other people do it, find a mentor if you can, but get hands-on practice as well. Okay, so your homework right now is to pick one skill to focus on this week. Just one. Choose a learning resource, block that 15 minutes into your calendar and take that first step. And then I want you to find Solve for Mom on LinkedIn and tag at Solve for Mom and let me know what skill you're tackling. I would love to cheer you on over there. And if you're feeling a little shy and want to send me a private message, you can do that by emailing hello@solveformom.com. So if this episode resonated with you, then share it with another mom who's feeling stuck in her career. She might actually be waiting for permission to start, and so you can actually flex your leadership and your influencer skills right now by sharing this episode with her. Okay, guys, I'm Anoki Kapasi, and I'm going to see you next week with more strategies to achieve your ambitious mom life. I hope today's episode will help you create time and freedom to pursue something you love to do. If you enjoy the show, please subscribe and tell other purpose-driven mamas about it. Who knows? You might even make a new friend by sharing a tip. It's all free. By the way, it would be amazing to hear what you think about the show when you leave a review on Apple Podcasts. After all, my passion is to make this a great experience for you. I'll see you next week for another episode of Achieve Your Ambitious Mom Life with Anoki Kapasi.